days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.
Bombshell article came out today. I don't know if you read it. I tried to read most of it before I came on the show, by Bill Pruitt. Who is Bill Pruitt? He is a former producer of The Apprentice, and he wrote a piece. I read it in Salon, and I'm gonna read some of it. He writes, The Apprentice was an instant success in another way too. It elevated Donald J. Trump from sleazy New York tabloid bustler. I pulled it from the middle. I didn't start from the beginning, so I'll start again. The Apprentice was an instant success in another way. It elevated Donald J. Trump from sleazy New York tabloid hustler to respectable household name. In the show, he appeared to demonstrate impeccable business instincts and unparalleled wealth, even though his businesses had barely survived multiple bankruptcies and faced yet another when he was cast. I didn't know that. By carefully misleading viewers about Trump, his wealth, his stature, his character, and his intent, the competition reality show set about an American fraud that would balloon beyond its creators' wildest imaginations. And this is for you, Sina, as the founder and proprietor of Fraudsters. He writes, this is Bill Pruitt again, producer of Apprentice. And why are we knowing about this? Because in 2004, he signed an NDA.
Yeah.
And the NDA was for 20 years. A 20-year NDA. Is this unusual? A 20-year that people put a time limit on an NDA?
I don't think so. Any NDA I've either written or signed off on or signed myself was in perpetuity.
That's what I thought.
Why would
years? That's a weird thing, right? I thought it was. I was like, I didn't know it had a statute of limitation on an NDA, but this one did apparently. So he goes on to write, I should know. I was one of the 4 producers involved in the first 2 seasons. During that time, I signed an expansive non-disclosure agreement that promised a fine of $5 million and even jail time if I were to ever divulge what actually happened. It expired this year. No one involved in The Apprentice, from the production company or the network to the cast and crew, was involved in a con with malicious intent. It was a TV show, so he's trying to excuse himself, and it was made for entertainment. I still believe that, but we played fast and loose with the facts, particularly regarding Trump. And if you were one of the 28 million who tuned in, chances are you were conned. As Trump answers for another of his alleged deception schemes in New York and gears up to try to persuade Americans to elect him again, in part thanks to the myth we created, I can finally tell you what making Trump into what he is today looked like from my side. Most days were revealing. Some still haunt me 2 decades later. And then he goes on and he writes about this particular season where the finalists were Kwame Jackson, a black broker from Goldman Sachs, and Bill Rancic, a white entrepreneur from Chicago who runs his cigar business. Trump assigns them each a task devoted to one of his crown jewel properties. I'm putting air quotes. Kwame Jackson, was to oversee a Jessica Simpson benefit concert at Trump Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City, while Rancic was to oversee a celebrity golf tournament at Trump National Golf Club in Briarcliff Manor, New York. Viewers need to believe that whatever Trump touches turns to gold. These properties that bear his name are supposed to glitter and gleam, all thanks to him. And Kwame won, clearly, right? I remember this because I was one of the 28 million watching. I don't know if you watched The Apprentice when it was out. Sina, did you watch it?
I did watch a good amount of it.
Okay. Well, Kepcher, and I guess Kepcher is one of Trump's partners, said to him, I think Kwame would be a great addition to the organization. And Trump winces while his head bobs around in reaction to what he's hearing, and he's clearly resisting. And he says, yeah, to no one in particular, but I mean, would America buy a nigger winning? Captures skin, captures pale skin turns bright red. I turn my gaze towards Trump. He continues to wince. He's serious, and he is adamant about not hiring Jackson. Beanstalk, another guy in the room, does a half cough, half laugh, and swiftly changes the topic or throws to somebody else for his assessment. What happens next, I don't entirely recall. I'm still processing what I've heard. We all are. Only Beanstalk knows well enough to keep the train moving because he's not surprised by this. Now, we don't have the audio. That's still Burnett, Mark Burnett, who also does Survivor and a bunch of other shows. He has the audio. He has the video. Will he release it? Is he also under this 20-year NDA? I don't know. Will this matter? 866-801-8255. Cena Gasnaby.
I think the question I would like to know are, would it matter? Do you think it matters to what we're seeing today, which is more black men that are becoming Trump supporters? Do you think it matters to them?
No. I don't think they're offended. I mean, so y'all ready to have this conversation? Here's the problem. The last 20 years, we have allowed for that word to become. I won't even say it still has meaning because of what it was wrought in, what it was formed in. But because it's thrown around so freely in music, in art, on television, there's very few shows, from Vince Staples' show to Atlanta to there's very few shows, Chicago, the Shy to Snowfall, shows that I actually like, Godfather of Harlem, where that word doesn't show up, just frivolously, just thrown around, right? It's part of the art. And if you're talking about black men, I can't speak for black men. Black men will have to call up and let me know. If you were a black man that was going to vote for Trump, does this change your mind? 866-801-8255. I can't speak for black men. I can't even speak for black people. For me, if I were someone leaning towards Trump, nothing would probably convince me because I would be part of a cult. Yeah, I'm waiting for the spaceship to land. I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid. Doesn't matter what flavor it is or how much arsenic is in it. I'm in. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's nothing that's going to convince me because that's my daddy at this point. You're not going to tell me my daddy is my daddy may be flawed, but I'm still rocking with him. So I don't know what it would take. I don't think this is it though.
There's also something quintessentially American about wanting someone that is quote strong, or like this strong asshole leader kind of a way, like a Putin-esque, that runs through the gut of America, that I think resonates with a lot of people. And I think the talking points around Biden not being all there and all that stupid stuff that we've seen is clearly been rebutted by his State of the Union, by how he's quipping back at reporters and stuff. It'd be nice if they put him out there for some more pressers and stuff like that. But at the same time, what we're seeing is that he's counteracting that narrative. But that narrative allows for a lot of America to view Biden as weaker and Trump as stronger. And that's scary because he's not strong. He's weaker.
Right. The other thing, though, I think more than this N-word, which the media is, of course, focusing on, is the fact that everything was a lie. He was not a strong businessman. He was not a strong person. He had no moral character. He was not good in business. It was entertainment. It was not a real. It was a reality show. It was scripted. They made him into this figure. As a matter of fact, he goes on, Bill Pruitt, to write that they were going to switch out billionaires every year. But they approached different billionaires, and Trump was the only one that agreed to do it. Nobody else wanted to do it. So,
real billionaires don't want the attention.
No.
One other thing happened this week. I don't know if you saw this as well, but Trump sold his Cessna Citation X.
What's his airplane?
His airplane, worth $8.5 to $10 million to a holding company, to a Republican donor, because he needs money. And so this plane,
You know, sneakers aren't selling. Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Those sneakers aren't selling. Y'all didn't buy the sneakers.
I bought 12. So he doesn't have money. Like, he has more money than you and me, but he doesn't have money.
Speak for yourself. 866-801-8255. I invested. I'm not out here flossing
Dividend.
like that.
Let's go.
I don't have 2 children. That said, no, but I mean, on a serious note, he's always been this. Most people in these positions are paper lions,
Yes.
They're rich on paper because they leverage their real estate, and they leverage and they leverage and they leverage. And I'm not saying they don't have wealth, because the real estate is real, but for him, he's actually marketing. He's literally throwing his name on a lot of these places that he doesn't even own. So it's even worse than that. And those bankruptcies mean something to me. 6 times bankrupt, that's a lot of money out there that you owe people that you will never pay. There's some karma in the water. I'm waiting for it. Karma is never late. She comes right on time. She better come on now. But I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if that's going to be the thing, because you're following somebody that's not who you think he is. Does that matter? 866-801-TALK. Let's take Chris in Atlanta. He said he's talked to a Trump supporter. Okay, let's find out, Chris.
Hey, Karen, how you doing?
Good.
I had a get together Memorial Day, and I had a black guy over who was a Trump supporter, and he was angry.
Now, how did you know? Did he have Blacks for Trump T-shirt on? What was? How did you know he was a Trump? Because most of the time at the cookout, you don't know. We're playing cards or dominoes, whatever you're doing. When did it come up?
Karen, he's been to my house a couple of times. I actually knows he supports Trump.
Okay.
But I was trying to convince him, and it was going on about gay people and this and that. I got so upset I threw him out my house. But he's not going to come back, Karen. They're not coming back.
Yeah, I think so.
At this point, they're not coming back. So don't try and convince them.
No, because it's not about Trump. It's about them. Right.
Yes,
so to reject Trump would be to reject themselves. And at that point, because now you have to admit you're wrong. Right. And that's really what we're dealing with. Right. People will have to admit that they fundamentally are not seeing the world the correct way. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And it's one that I don't know if you do this, Sina. I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. You have to ask yourself that. I mean, let me stack up the facts and look at them again. And maybe I'm not seeing something. No, I see what I see. Okay. All right. But you have to at least do that. I don't think a lot of people do that.
I think if you're a really reasonable or maybe intellectually rigorous person, you're going to question yourself and question your thinking. I have friends that I always go to, and I to help me second guess myself. Like, am I crazy? It's what's nice about having a partner in this life. And you can just go to them and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Is this insane? And they should be able to tell you, yeah, or hey, no, you're not insane. That is what's happening.
But that's why you got to pick the right partner, because you don't want somebody that's just going to blow smoke up your ass because they like you or they love you.
And then I've seen an interview too where the husband was like early on the Trump train and then slowly influenced the wife to then carry over on the thing, which speaks to like other issues in the media and institutions losing trust. And we'll talk about losing trust in public institutions later in the show, I know. But that is like a huge factor here, is that the institutions that we have depended on for decades have not done their job. And that enables a strong man, I'm using big quotes. How big could I make these quotes? A strong man to come along and to take advantage.